And Mike Cooley.
It wouldn't be no Thug Life album if it wasn't for Man and Babez. Because they the ones.
What up, though? This your boy DOC, and I got someone very special on the line, directly from the Thug Life Tupac era back in the day in Northern California. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself and where you from?
Hey, man, my name is Babez. I'm from Richmond, California.
Now, a little while ago, I was watching an interview on Vladtv where Big Syke gave a big shout out to you and Man, and he said for putting up the bread to create Thug Life. Can you elaborate on that? Like, you know, would you consider yourself like the co-founder, or like what was that about?
Well, it was like I wouldn't say a phase. It was like a compilation as far as the record goes, but it was like a phase Pac was going through. I mean, you know, like the person was the 50 niggas, and then it came on into the Thug Life where, you know, he actually formed a group. And then Interscope didn't want to, you know, put that out there. They were trying to make another image out of Pac and, you know, a weaker image or whatever. So we put up the bread. Me and my cousin Man put up the bread. Because, you know, Pac needed it, and Pac went in and put the other third in.
So I guess, okay, let's go back a little bit as far as, when did you actually meet Tupac?
Man, I met Tupac probably in about 1990. Probably about 1990. I had an apartment. I used to have a lot of dice games in my apartment. There was a party down at this little lounge. And Mike Cooley came to the party with Pac. And Mike Cooley, after the party, the dice game was at my house. So Mike Cooley and the chicks and Pac, we all came up to my house in Pinole. And, you know, we shot dice. And, you know, I clowned around. And, you know, Pac rapped. You know, and we just, you know, clowned around. That's when I know he was something. You know what I mean? Once I seen him freestyle for 2 hours straight. You know what I mean? It was wild.
So how would you describe Tupac as a person, like, before the Thug Life era, before we got to know who he was, like, during that time? I hear a lot about Marin City and different things up in that era. Like, how would you describe that era during that time?
Well, Tupac was an artist, man. He was a rapper's rapper. You hear me? I mean, I would go to Echo Sound with him and look at him in the booth. You know what I mean? And once you get that look from him, he's going in. I mean, but as far as the gangsterism part, I mean, he really didn't have to be that. You know what I mean? Yet, I mean, he went in that direction, but at first, Pac wasn't, you know, he wasn't into that. He was just an artist. I mean, he wasn't no punk to say, you know, shoot, if given a fair fight, I mean, you know, the dudes in Marin City, they didn't necessarily give him a fair fight. You know what I mean? And shoot, that was the thing with them, if they had anything to say as far as Pac being a punk. But, you know, shoot, Pac was, you know, he was just an artist, man. He was, you know, he was a weird dude, you would say. You know what I mean? We'd be on the planes, you know, flying from different places. He'd be looking at books that you would never imagine. I mean, you would never imagine reading these type of things, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then that's what he would form his art from, you know, but, yeah, Pac was, I mean, he kind of skipped off into that lane. I mean, it's gradually into Thug Life, you know what I mean? As we toured different spots, we went to jail, different spots, I mean, you know, just got into a bunch of trouble, get kicked out of different hotels. I mean, you know, a lot of alcohol involved. I mean, but, you know, yeah, Pac kind of formulated into that, man. He wasn't that at first. Right. I mean, you know, he was just an artist, man.
Do you think it was like the influences from the people that was around him that kind of formed the Thug Life? Like, was it a specific message that he wanted to give through the Thug Life, or he just wanted to, like, I don't know how to.
Well, no, he wanted to have thugs from everywhere. I mean, we came from the Bay. You know, Rated R, Mac 10, and Big Syke, they came from L.A. I mean, Big Stretch, he came from New York. You know, he just wanted to formulate, even Tretch. I mean, Tretch was somewhat in Thug Life. I mean, but yeah, he just wanted to form a big, you know, like 50 niggas, like the 50 niggas tattoo he has. That was like like not a cult, but, you know, like a clan, you know what I mean? And Thug Life became the next thing, you know what I mean? To where, you know, you wanted to get thugs from everywhere. The Crip Blood, we toured everywhere. Chicago, and, you know, we went where the thugs were at. You know what I mean? And that's what we represented. You know what I mean? Represented Thug Life, you know? Yeah, that's the message you wanted to get across.
Was this before and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm, like I said, I don't really know the timeline, but I'm trying to, was this before, like, the Outlaws and all that stuff? Did you get the opportunity to mix and mingle with the Outlaws, or were that already put together?
Well, when we went to a fundraiser, it was a fundraiser in Marin City, and the Outlaws were there then. Yav, which was, what they call it, Gaddafi, he had a cast on his leg. And when the stuff broke out, when the little boy got killed out there, you know, we had to lift Gaddafi over the fence. We had to run from these dudes. I mean, it was like the whole park turned on us. So, you know, but yeah, the Outlaws was there then. I don't even think they were even necessarily rapping all like that. I mean, I think Castro, they were. As a matter of fact, they were. And Edie, I mean, they all were there. But yeah, man, those are my dogs right there. I just seen Edie at Syke's funeral.
So I'm wondering, like, okay, a lot of misconceptions of people that have, especially nowadays, a lot of people, you know, with this movie that's coming out. I'm wondering, have anybody from the movie contacted any of you guys from the original Thug Life, like in the Bay Area, you know, to give y'all insight on the movie or anything like that?
No directors have contacted us in anything, and they could not tell that man's life without telling us. My man is the first one who produced Tupac, the Underground Railroad. Man and Mike Cooley is the first one who got Tupac in the industry. So how could they not mention them? How could they not, a director not get their story? I mean, at least them. Then there's us. Arsenio Hall. I mean, everything, man. I mean, shoot, it's too much to name.
Right.
I mean, up until he went to jail with Man for the rape. So how are they going to cut around that, I wonder?
Right.
And then they say Big Syke, they haven't even really gave a mention of Big Syke in the movie.
I'm wondering what type of direction they're going to go in with this, if it's just going to be Hollywood just to sell tickets, or if it's going to be the real story. Because I'm hearing a lot of people, even like yourself, saying, like, they didn't reach out to us to get no information, so how would they?
No. I mean, Syke was telling me something about a movie, following this movie, called Thug Life. It was actually called Thug Life, and the director was going to be actually getting our information. Syke told me this before he died. I was in touch with Syke. Like a month before he died, he told me this, man.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But, you know, I never did find out that, you know, I tried to talk with Atron, which is Pac's manager, and, you know, I think he managed Syke as well. But, however, I never did get the straight of it, man. But no one ever contacted me. So if they come up with my character in there, what am I to do? That's defamation of character, right?
Yeah. They don't suppose to use your likeness.
No, not at all. Right. No, not at all.
Yeah. It's been crazy, especially the past couple months, you know, leading up to this movie. But it's like I kind of be wanting to focus on, because that's a big gray area in Tupac Life of the, you know, the Oakland stage. Like, when he was around then, was he pushing the Black Panther cause? Was he talking about it? You know, was his mom around, or what was going on?
That was his character. Let me tell you, man, Pac was a strong dude as far as that goes, man. He should have stayed on that path. Pac was, so much so to where I was in just different, unsavory things back then, you know what I mean? So I was in the street doing street stuff. And I come back in, and Pac would be right there at our spot, you know what I mean? And or we'll be in the Richmond Marina at Pac's spot, and I come in with the oopla or whatever, and then Pac will be like, man, so what happens if this happens to you? Or well, you know, he like questioning him, but because he ain't never been exposed to none of this. This stuff don't happen in Marin. You know where he came from. This type of stuff, man, they may fight over there. This won't happen over there. So he's like, dang, this you doing? Dang, this happened? Or when I'm coming in, like, man, this is everyday stuff that's happening. You know what I mean? So then from right there, he moved to L.A. We moved him to L.A. I mean, we more or less moved to L.A. with him. You know what I mean? When we were in Marin City and that stuff happening with him in Marin City, he had taken a chick, one of those rats from Marin City or whatever, to his place in Richmond. So then he just fled the whole Bay Area and went to L.A. But Thug Life was born in Richmond, right there at the Merchant Marina. And then we went to LA and met Syke. And we went to LA and and met Raiders and Mac 10, Macadocious, excuse me, and Big Surge.
So he was kind of tough on the Black Panther, the movement.
Yeah, man. When we went, as a matter of fact, when we first moved him to LA, we went to a Black Panther rally.
During that time, did it seem as if like him and his mom was real close? Did y'all get the opportunity to meet her, or she was back in New York?
Feeney stayed with Pac. I mean, Feeney, and when he stayed in Sherman Oaks, because I more or less stayed with him in Sherman Oaks as well. But if Feeney stayed, she stayed there.
Right.
Yeah, Feeney. I mean, she went on tour with us. As a matter of fact, she done different shows with us. Did she go on the Thug Life tour with us? No, she just done different shows with us.
Yeah. So what albums was out like during that time, during that era that he was putting out?
Well, I done the Tupac Lives Now. I done like the ending of that unto Strictly for My Niggas, and then the Thug Life. Then we done a Thug Life tour. He introduced Thug Life on the Strictly for My Niggas when we was doing touring the Strictly for My Niggas stuff.
Right.
We done probably about 30 shows with the Strictly for My Niggas stuff, and then he was promoting Thug Life. Like we do a couple of tracks on on the Strictly for My Niggas tour. But then we went on this Thug Life tour.
So, all right, now the part, did you see a difference in him, like, around the rape case, like, once he went, like, leading up to that case, and, like, afterwards, what change did you see in him after that?
Well, first off, that rape case was a bunch of trash, man. I mean, back then, we were young. I mean, we were young and wild, true enough. I mean, but man, we used to come from the house of blues, man, with dimes, man. I mean, and it was good, I mean, not to even get too so far into it, but I mean, I know, man, this is someone I never not knew. You know what I mean? This showed me the game, so I knew better than that, even though I wasn't there personally, but and so when it went down, it was just already understood. Like, so I know y'all didn't do it, man. That's wrong. Y'all got caught up. Y'all put yourself in that situation. But then, I guess you would say when he guys starts messing with Suge and them, what I mean? I guess he switched reels. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But now, it didn't never come down to him, getting disrespectful or nothing like that. But now, that's what kind of change I seen in him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe because he wasn't around the same characters, such as Syke or, Nuke or,
Well, they were more like mentors in a way?
Well, yeah. Syke was all of, he was older, he's older than us. So, Syke was like, had a command a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I mean, shoot, Pac was our friend. He wasn't, I mean, yeah, we toured, he paid us some, but we didn't really count on that. I mean, we had other ventures that we were into, so, we were more or less his friend. When we, that was our partner. That's how we ran. So, he felt that family vibe, that family orientation, man. You know what I mean? Like, that he had never felt. Because when he was over there in Marin, he never felt that about them dudes over there. Them dudes always hated on him. So when he got with us, that's how it was. So when he got with Suge and them, man, like I said, he went a certain way, man.
Now, were y'all still, and I know you said y'all the ones that moved him down there to L.A., but he was down there for maybe, unfortunately, down there for like a year and a half. Was y'all around during that whole time, like throughout that whole all eyes on me process and all that stuff?
No. Once him and Man caught the case, that's when things separated. I mean, that's when Suge built. I don't even know Suge.
Right.
I don't know him to disrespect him or respect him.
Yeah.
So, that's what that is.
So I'm trying to see now on the timeline of, so if that happened with the Suge and all that stuff, so the very first shooting that ended up happening, was y'all out there in New York? Was y'all around during that time when that very first shooting happened out in New York?
I believe Man was. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Man was with Pac.
Yeah. So
I believe that happened before the rape, right? So yeah, I believe Man was with Pac back then, man. And it was crazy how I heard how it went down and everything. I talked to Big Stretch and It was just a big mess, man.
What, like, was the temperature like out back on the West Coast in y'all area? You know, like, was it more or less like we got to protect him more to keep him away from the bullshit, or was he starting to stray off on his own, or?
Well, see, me and Pac the same age, like, and not to say that even that's neither here nor there, but I mean, you know, I was wild back then. I mean, and alcohol didn't make it no better, but you know, and Man like wasn't as, you know, he wasn't as wild. Never has been like that. You know what I mean? So he kind of like would, you know, suggest different things, but then Pac had the you know, the upper hand, like, you know, but you know, he would just tell Pac, you know, not to go so hard, you know.
Right.
And but Pac just felt so strong about, you know, like different things, like about police, mistreatment of, you know, just wow.
Right. Because he actually went through a police brutality, like, situation. Was that was up there in the Bay?
Yeah, that was in Oakland. Him and Man was over in Oakland, someplace, I believe downtown Oakland, and the crowd, you know, surrounded him or whatever, and the police, you know, whooped on him, and he sued him.
And then from that point, that's when he just started going hard on the police.
Well, I mean, I've been in the Hilltop Mall here in Richmond, and a girl was, you know, just following Pac. You know how girls see celebrities or whatever. But you know, back then Juice had came out, I believe. I'm not sure, but and the security guard like grabbed her arm, like, you know, almost broke her arm.
Right.
And Pac like stepped up and like snapped, you know. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so.
See, from the outside looking in, say for instance, for an individual like myself that was just watching Tupac on TV and movies and stuff, you know, I don't know if it's a misconception or not, but a lot of people felt like because you just brought the movie up, Juice, a lot of people was like he never left out of that character. Like, personally knowing him, like, behind the scenes, did you ever hear that or feel that, or you felt like he was the same person throughout that whole stretch?
Yeah, I would say that too. Honestly, I would say that.
What, that he never left out of that role?
He never left Bishop. He never left Bishop. Never left him. I mean, even the guy on the role he played on Above the Rim.
Yeah.
That guy never left him. I mean, you know. But yeah, I mean, Pac was a good dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Let me just tell you that. Pac was no punk. Pac was a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Straight up. I mean, shoot. All this wannabe, yeah, he's not a gangster because of this or because of that. I mean, you know, shoot. He shot a policeman, man. Right. You know.
See, that'd be the thing to me, like, when people misinterpret being gangster with just being true to self. Like, from what I'm
being
hearing,
smart.
Right. Like, what I'm hearing from you is that this individual that you knew, he stood on certain principles and would go for that, you know.
Yeah, and was real about it.
Right. And I think that's a part of his legacy that people need to focus on more than just the few negative things. Because as a celebrity, you're gonna go through shit, unfortunately. But it just
no. But it's one thing I noticed, man. Pac used to cuss out Interscope a lot. Like, I'm calling them all kind of bitches, and I mean, excuse my French, but I mean, just call them, man, fuck y'all, this and that, and hang up on them, and then you'd be right back talking with them, right?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't give him, they wouldn't clear his samples on a lot of stuff, or they would tell him back and forth. It was as if they were trying to mold him into a certain character.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't clear his samples on certain stuff, you know, on, just say for instance, like the stuff Suge Knight later on brought out for him. That actually made him, the All Eyes on Me. You know, they wouldn't let him bring out things like that. They wanted to keep him in another character.
Right.
And the Brenda's got a baby character, or they don't want the thug life, like I was saying, they didn't want thug life to come out.
Was it because they wanted to try to separate, like on the business side? Do you think they were making that decision because they were trying to separate? Now, to say for instance, just like, okay, so you and Man's put up the money. Do you think Interscope was doing that because they were trying to separate the two entities so you guys wouldn't get a piece, or you think that was like a deliberate decision?
But all I know, when it all came down, there's an album called Are You Still Down?
Mm-hmm.
That right there is what my money paid for right there.
Yeah.
In it, Thug Life Volume 1, that wasn't what we paid for. Ready for Whatever, all those, it's different tracks that end up in different places, right? But that's the money that we put in. That's the original Thug Life Volume 1. But then Interscope went ahead and took over it and cut us out. Gave us some chump change to argue about and cut us out. You know what I mean? So, of course, I wasn't satisfied. And then being young and ignorant back then, of course, I was pouting like a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I was kind of upset with Pac for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you could think back on those times, like, what was some of your most memorable moments, like standout moments of just kicking it with Pac?
Man, on my birthday in Chicago, man, I came back to my room and, man, it was a cake on the bed and, it was, man, they just gave me a surprise, man. Kato, that's when Kato was alive. Man, it was just it was a big bash, man. Yeah. Seriously, man, it was just a love, man. It was real love. Like my birthday, nobody don't celebrate, your birthday like that. You got partners and everything.
Yeah.
But now, he just caught when it was my birthday, man, and threw me like a mini bash in there, man. And then whipped on me, and then punched on me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gave me some lumps on my birthday, man. I never forget that, man. I never forget. Right in Chicago, man.
Now speaking on Kato, how did that particular
man,
individual...
that was, man, I love Kato, man. I can remember back when I was slipping in a room one time. We were in Columbus, Ohio somewhere, and I let this chick take my phone out the hotel room. You know what I mean? We was wilding, man, So anyway, the chick was downstairs talking, I got this phone. Kato snatched the phone, you know what I mean? The Kato was just my dog, where we weren't rappers. We was just there, you know what I mean? Well, I was there with my venture, with my money, but Kato was, we were just street niggas. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what we had in common, and that's how we messed with it, man. And that's how we messed with it, you know what I mean? We didn't work for Pac, so, we just did, man, it was all love, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, I love Kato, man. May he rest in peace.
That's what I was going to ask you. How did Kato's passing affect you and, Pac at that time?
Well, yeah, I really felt it, man, because, I was close to Kato, man. Real, like I was just telling you. And Pac, Pac had never really had no dead homies. Marin City, they don't kill each other out there. They wouldn't, which that's bad. Anywhere to do that. But he had never really been, exposed to anything like that. That was probably his first dead homie. Seriously. And then Mental from the Eagle Mind, from Syke's group. You know what I mean? When he died, we was in Philly somewhere. We was in Philly and got the word Mental got killed out there, man, by them dudes. But yeah, man, that was like, so Pac, that kind of affected Pac, I would say. You know what I mean? It's like, he like, dang, that could happen to me. Right. Like, you know what I mean? That happened to me. I had seen people die and die over,
Right.
Which that was a part of what I was, my environment. But on the other hand, he was,
and that kind of translated over into the music when he started
misery, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Misery. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. He always expressed himself through his music, and cause at that point in time, I would say we had gotten separated. That's after the rape case, you know what I mean? That's when he went to into the Misery Act, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was feeling his music, man, and he know I was feeling his music, cause I was talking to him from time to time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but he was like, he had fell into that misery, man.
I think it was like a form of depression from seeing all this stuff going on.
like he was preparing himself for what happened, for the inevitable, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really, because he know going in a path like that's bound to happen, and he was willing to go, he was willing to go get down how he had to get down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's the crazy part about that whole situation, because I know it got to be a totally different feeling from being an individual that, partied together, like you said, beat up on each other, have fun, rocking it with each other. Then on the outside looking in, people looking at it, to look at a human being that, you know, a lot of people nowadays say, oh, I don't care, I'm ready to die. But for someone to really embrace it, like, I know this is what's going to happen, and I'm willing to.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when you in that life, it's like you accept that. Like, you know what I mean? It ain't something you just stay looking at and stay focusing on, but that's something that you accept. You know what I mean? I don't know if he wanted to keep that in people's face, like, you know, this is what you up against, or, you know, you might as well be singing the same song I'm singing if you living like you living, or, you know, I don't know if he was like, I don't know what kind of picture he was trying to paint.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, yeah, it was a trip to see him go into that, man.
If he was still alive today, how do you think the rap scene, or just everything in general, how do you think things would be?
Man, Pac would rise to the occasion, man. Just let me let you know that Pac was a rapper's rapper. Couldn't nobody beat Pac.
Yeah.
When Pac stayed in Richmond Arena, man, he had this whole floor was filled with binders. Not binders for the raps, man. This dude, I mean, this back before, I mean, you know, multimedia and, you know, different gadgets, and, you know what I mean? Pac was a rapper's rapper, man. Nobody could have messed with Pac. So if he can only steer the generation, they had their ears flapping for him, man. He could have steered the generation in that direction. I don't care if it was in the Black Panther direction. Maybe that would have helped us out. You know what I mean? Or whatever. You know what I mean? I just hate that he went into the gangster and end up.
Yeah. And that's the part where, you know, where all the, and I don't like to really just myself get into the conspiracies, but seeing a man that had that much power with that many ears listening to him, you know, and that could affect that many individuals, a lot of people feel like, you know, it was purposely, and I ain't trying to really go off into all that, you know, because that's...
Go right ahead. Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
But that's what I was just going to say. A lot of people feel like with the power that he had, mixing those those messages in his music, not making it real preachy, but still putting those gems in there for people to learn that it was that his ending had to happen. Like, the industry didn't really want that. You know, how you felt about that?
Well, I don't think they wanted him to express any kind of movement in the direction of blackness. That's what I thought they feared right there. Yeah. Because as I said, I watched him like not clear a lot of his samples, man. I mean, a lot of them was full of, gangster stuff, but a lot of them was full of stuff against the oppression. You know, and he would go into that. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't clear those. So, yeah, man, I think they more or less, they happy. They applauded that, man. That that was inevitable. Right. You know what I mean? They seen what direction it was going in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you still been involved in the music industry or anything since then?
Well, no, man. I've been doing a little writing. I've been putting a piece together.
DocHicksTv.
A couple of pieces together. A book about thug life revelations. I put it up and down. I got to pay these bills, so Right. But however, the music industry, I haven't even stepped in that direction, man. Because like I was telling you, I was kind of salty about not, getting paid like I was supposed to get paid. You know what I mean? Right. But that was all a part of growing up. Yeah. And life lessons. You know what I mean? So, oh well. The experience, man, that Pac gave me, man, I'm telling you, man. Like he said, I ain't never had a friend like him. Right. And just like Pac told me, and he was talking to me in his music, man. I ain't never had a friend like him.
That's what I was meaning to ask you about. Cause we briefly spoke about that. What was going on during them circumstances that made him write that song? Was it like y'all were just going through different issues, or like? No,
well, like the money didn't the money had been in circulation for a while. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was a fast moving dude back then. I was in the street, so I needed my money to to get along with what I had going on. So, I was kind of, like, what's up with the money, and then, stupidity, a young, stupid dude, you know what I mean? And, so I had stopped talking to everybody, and for 1 minute, then I talked to him again, and, just being a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being a kid, man. So, you know, he just send like little subliminals, but he would never diss though.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he, like I say, he would get at me like I had a wreck. That's how I got off tour. I had a wreck, man. I had a near fatal wreck back in '94. And, you know, when I got out of, I mean, up until a coma. And when I got out of the coma, Pac called the hospital and, you know, and was just talking shit, you know, just all that. And then from then, you know, I was just like touch base with him from time to time. You know, I talked to him through Mo one time. I was in LA one time when he was in LA one time. And I talked to him. But, you know, we never did really connect. I mean, especially when he got with Suge and them. I don't even know them dudes.
Right. If it was one memory, not the memory
Snoop, though.
Oh, you was cool with Snoop?
Yeah, I knew Snoop. I mean, you know, we had done a show with Snoop. I mean, like at Jack the Rapper one time, like back in, I think that was '93 sometime. We had Luke Skywalker came through there and was raising hell because I think they was dissing each other or something.
Yeah. And
we went on with Snoop and them back then. I mean, and then, you know, we messed with Snoop in Long Beach before, as a matter of fact, at a little motel, man. Yeah, I knew Snoop. I mean, you know, in passing, like, you know, we players, so, you know, players recognized as such.
Right. If it's like the last memory that you would want to stay on people's hearts about the, you know, Tupac, because he's almost like a mortified into the game, you know what I'm saying, at this particular point, if it was one thing that you want people to remember about his character, you know, what would that be?
I would say that Pac is a prophet, man. Pac is a real prophet. Yeah. Pac told me some things I had never heard, to where I had to call my mother. And this is on my dead daddy's grave. I had to call my mother. I called my mother and let her listen, because this was changing my whole envision of life. I mean, my mother can attest to this, and Lord knows my mother saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
I called my mother like, Mama, why? Look what he's saying. Ain't nobody, you know, everybody who's talking to me talking garbage.
Right.
I mean, you know, garbage in, garbage out. So when Pac was a real prophet, man. Seriously, but regardless of how he ended up, you know, the influences that led him, you know, down the road he went down or whatever, man, Pac was a real prophet, man.
Will you be going out to see the movie?
Well, I don't even know, man. I've been hearing like different people that seen the, you know, seen snippets of it, said they didn't really have Syke in there or nothing, like, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm not even in it for that, man. You know, I'm probably gonna go take a look at it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna take a look at it. But I just wonder how did they, you know, get us out of there? You know, I mean, I'm not even expecting you know.
Like no check or nothing from it.
Nah, you know, but dang.
It seems
that's
like
impossible.
it seems, you know, from the little bits and pieces of information I get about the movie, and I'm not like tied into the industry or nothing like that, but it seems like they purposely do that because they think the individuals are going to want some form of check from it, so they cutting out so many key players.
Yeah. See, and that, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But Syke was telling me something about a project that was coming out. See, I was in touch with Syke. I always have been in touch with Syke. I mean, I've gone and stayed months with Syke. And, you know, in Hawthorne and Marina Del Rey. I mean, you know, me and Syke have never left contact unless I was in a prison. Unless I was in one of these prisons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. Man.
Well, I hope they do some type of justice, you know, in this particular movie, and it's not just Hollywood just to bring people out just on some shoot 'em up, bang bang, that people get the opportunity, especially for this generation that wasn't here when he was here, to get to know the real him. You know. Yeah,
and like Syke said on Vladtv, man, we're the one that raised Pac into that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so, I mean, however it pans out, man. May he rest in love, man. You know?
And this might be a weird kind of question, but let me ask this. Do you think if he never went down to LA and kind of stayed up there with you guys, that he would still be alive? Or do you think just God had his plan?
Well, it wasn't big enough. It wasn't big enough in the Bay Area for Pac, man. He needed at least L.A. I mean, New York. I mean, you know, to get him on the stage to go on worldwide as he is now. I mean, you know, so I don't know. I think it was just it's fate, man.
Yeah.
I can't say if he stayed in the Bay, it wouldn't have happened to him because it can happen in the Bay. It can happen anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I can't say, man. I mean, just was his destiny, man.
Is his legacy like real strong still in the Bay now, or like people still rock with him hard out there? Because you know you got the iconic people like Mac Dre and all that stuff. You know, rest in peace to him. Is his legacy still strong out there in the Bay?
Man, I got my drop cutlass, man. I got a 70 drop cutlass, man. We done keep your head up in. Me, Pac, and man, you know what I mean? I never sold it. You know what I mean? Yeah, to represent Pac. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna forever I seen a whole nother look in his eye. You know what I mean?
Like,
so, you know, and then Syke told me like it wasn't, Death Row wasn't cool. Sugar wasn't cool, so don't even try to, you know, go aboard that. So I didn't.
So once Pac actually was down there in L.A., and, you know, and I know you said it was a form of some type of separation once they got with Suge and all that stuff. How did the original Thug Life members, like, look at his situation? Did it feel the same, or how did y'all look at it?
Well, the politics down there in L.A. are different from the area. He had, you know, been running with, you know, Big Syke and Rated R, Macadocious. And, you know, they were one side of the politics and Suge was the other. So I guess from what my understanding, Suge was like making a difference, pressing the issue on the difference. So where we weren't, we don't, you know, Bay Area, Richmond in general can give a damn about a Crip or a Blood or Crip or whatever, you know, and have love for them both the same. So when he got down there, man, everybody kind of cut Pac loose because they didn't want to go through any kind of disrespect. Because who knows if they can withstand disrespect from someone? I mean, say for raising their voice.
Right.
Some people can't even withstand, you know what I mean, really. From somebody feeling like they a boss or something and raising their voice.
Yeah.
Where they can probably put their hands on one person or say different things to one person they can't say to another because another don't care who they are or who, you know, how many people with them. It's them. If I'm going to get them, I'm going to get them. So, you know, that's probably what it was, man. We all just fell back. Just to keep it real, we all fell back, man, because Pac was messing with them dudes, man. And, you know, and them dudes was pushing. You know what I mean? Shoot.
How do you feel, or the individual that was from that area, you know, feel about the recent, the recent slander from individuals like Funk Flex or Whack 100?
Well, I've been hearing, you know, in the media, the Chessman was kind of tripping out for a minute, and you know, and saying, you know, forget about dude or whatever. Man, that's a bunch of hogwash. I don't know if dude want to get a publicity stunt, if he need that to add to his, you know, his blog. Well, yeah, I did, Pac. Yeah, you real tough, huh? You real sharp. You know, I don't know what to what effect he wanted to go with that, man. Yeah. Really, I mean, but it's, you know, it's shit. Ain't nobody reacting to that. Not no real niggas.
Right. I thought, you know, at the end of the day, most quote unquote real niggas, you know, you don't really disrespect a man once he dead. You know what I mean? Like, it got to be some type of line that you draw. But
then you got dudes that go at anything at all costs. I mean, you know, you got cut those dudes, like, you know, just try to raise a issue by saying something in the pocket like, yeah, I did it, or, you know, and not even know what they talking about, you know, or, you know, you forever in life you're gonna have dudes like that, man. I've seen them and gonna see them again.
Right.
So, you know, that was nothing to no real nigga.
Right.
I mean, shoot, to the dozens of fake ones, you know what I mean? Oh, well, you know, more power, you know, less power to him, you know? So, yeah, it's neither here nor there, man. Like Malky said.
Do you have any, like, unreleased music from back then, or Any anything that's still connected to him during that time when you said he had, the folders and folders of music? Was it a lot of unreleased music that got left out there in the Bay?
Nah, he took all that with him to LA. When he moved to Sherman Oaks, he took, I would just, when he left and went, right, we packed his stuff up. That's why I said we moved him to LA, literally. Yeah. You know what I mean? We packed his stuff up and moved to LA. But when we were out there, man, while we was, man, all he had was like, man, spiral notebooks. I mean, just, everywhere, man. I mean, everywhere, man. Filling the room floor.
Well, I can definitely tell that, you got much love for Pac and y'all was, real tight, man.
Yeah, man. That was my nigga, man. That was my real nigga, man. Straight up. That was my real nigga, man. He straight up, he took, man, made me, man. He put me on top of some game, man. Regardless of how I valued it, man, now that I'm older and can really appreciate it, I can actually say Pac really gave me, a piece of some real action, man. Because I was just in the streets. I had the street fame. That's who that song was about. Me. That song was directly about me, not Mike Cooley, me.
DocHicksTv.
Which one? Never Had a Friend Like Me?
That one and Street Fame.
Street Fame, okay, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, man, when Pac gave me the opportunity, man, get away from all that. When we talked about investing in Thug Life, man, this is the sermon he gave me, man. Nigga, like, you ain't finna be running from the police. Like, man, you ain't finna have guards around you with guns, man. You ain't finna have to be strapped in the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously, so this is the dream I felt like he sold me. You know what I mean? When I didn't get paid as much as I felt I should have got paid. You know what I mean?
He was trying to make a difference, not only in his life, but the people that was around him.
Yeah, around him, man. Around him, man. He took me out of the ghetto, man. On the run. You hear me? On the run. For some stupid circumstances, but some real ones.
Right.
So, he took me out of the hands of that. I had an ID, everything. You hear me? I'm talking about all over America, man, from the Big Apple to the nation's capital, man.
Yeah.
You hear me? Straight out of Richmond, California, man, from there, from the streets to there. Straight up, all, man, everywhere, man, knowing everybody, man. Really, man.
Do you think?
Seriously, man.
I'm wondering, as far as that, the idea of the 50 states, when he first brought up the idea of like trying to get one general or one rapper in each 50 states, how did y'all all look at that vision when he was talking about it? Did it seem realistic or?
Well, like I said, around in that part, it didn't seem realistic to me. Because around that part, I was in the street still, you know what I mean? So I was thinking about street stuff. I wasn't really, you know what I mean? I had enemies, direct enemies. I had immediate enemies. I didn't think about how the white folks was our enemies, you know what I mean? And making all of this happen to us, you know what I mean? Making our enemies be our enemies, you know what I mean? I was thinking about, so I wasn't too much into that.
Right.
I wasn't too much. My cousin Man, he has a 50 niggas tattoo. He has a 50 niggas tattoo as well as Pac. See, he was around that era. That's around the Venus Got a Baby era. I wasn't really, like I said, I was in a different stuff back then. You know what I mean? Yeah. But once, shortly thereafter, Thug Life. Once I got in there, it was on, man. We never left.
Well, at the end of the day, all I can say, I'm glad that you and Mans end up putting that investment at that particular time. Because if not, we might not even have any of what we know of Tupac to this day. We never know. So, from me to you, I want to tell you, we appreciate, the investment in that, all that you participated in the Tupac during that time.